Hi folks, how are you doing? In the fifth round of the Tromsø Chess Olympiad 2014, we saw, which is nowadays the highest rated game of the chess, world's #1 and world champion Magnus Carlsen from Norway was playing with black pieces against Aronian, rated 28.05 right now from Armenia, world #2. So this was a stellar match on the first board of this Armenia versus Norway matchup. Let us see what happened. Remember, Aronian is white, Carlsen is black. And this time Carlsen chose the Slav defense. Very solid, very sound defense. Knight c3. And Carlsen chose the main move here to take on c4, a4. And now main moves are bishop f5, bishop g4. Very common moves, thousands of GM games with these moves. But Carlsen chose other move, knight a6, which certainly has its ideas. I would guess knight going to b4 is sometimes even supporting c5, which is something black sometimes do, or going to c7 to reinforce the center through d5 could be an idea. So seems a very logical move to develop a piece that way. Pawn to e3, and now bishop g4 with a little pin here. White takes back on c4 with the bishop, e6, h3, and Carlsen took on f3, queen takes. Now he plays knight to b4, of course with a threat to fork rook and king, forcing Aronian to take a decision. Of course he castles, bishop to e7, a5, keeps pushing this pawn, black castles, and rook d1. This is quite a solid position for black, I think. Although white has the bishop pair, the one on c1 doesn't seem very great so far, and black doesn't have many weaknesses here, so it's a solid, pretty good position for black. Of course, do not expect for these players to go on one another's throat at these games, because this is a team tournament, so they must play really solidly, not a low match, and the player, especially with black pieces, Magnus Carlsen here, must hold and wait to see what his teammates with white pieces have to do. Now Carlsen plays b6, a takes, the rooks are exchanged on their a file, and bishop d2. White has the bishop pair and slightly more active pieces. The queen, the bishop, we can argue is quite a good piece. But so for the time being, Carlsen will have to play solid, not allow weaknesses, and that's exactly what he does. He plays very solid moves. Aronian tries to play on the c file, focusing on this c6 pawn, which could be a weakness. Now the knight from b goes to d5, and queen back to d1. h6 and rook a1, attacking the queen, which goes to b7, queen b3, rook a8. Aronian doesn't want to exchange it so far. Rook c1, and after knight takes, bishop takes, it may seem white has some space advantage in bishop pair, but I think Carlsen's position seems very healthy and solid. Of course, white is the player who could be better here, but black doesn't stand that bad here. Pretty solid. Queen c7, bishop back to e2 to go to f3 after c5. There it goes, bishop f3, attacking the rook. Rook to d8, rook to d1. Here knight d5, d takes, and here comes a crucial point in the game. Carlsen allows a little combination with which, in fact, he loses some pawns, but he gets in a very solid and safe, seemingly safe endgame. He takes on c3, allowing the c takes b6 intermediate move, attacking the queen. Now rooks are exchanged, bishop takes, and he goes queen b7. The b pawn takes back on c3, and as a result of all this simplification, we reach an endgame with queens and opposite colored bishops. This is a clue in this position, opposite colored bishops. And well, of course, Carlsen lost 2 pawns, the B and C pawn, but he's easily going to recapture one right now with bishop c5, and he's going to reach a pawn down opposite colored and queen's endgame, which, as we're gonna see, is going to be pretty safe for black. He's already seen this is very drawish, so of course Levon is going to try to push it, but bishop c5 immediately recapturing this. Aronian must try to foresee the future. He plays h4, I guess, to stop some g5 expansion, whatever. Queen takes b6. Of course, Levon doesn't exchange because this is hopeless. This is completely draw. So this is a team competition, and he has the white pieces. He must try to look for the victory, for advantage to press, and he plays queen c2, keeping queens on the board. Now queen d6, h5, and after some moves, g3. Seems here Carlsen had another possibility which was pretty safe as well. He could sacrifice the bishop here. F takes, queen takes another pawn with check, and it could follow this, in which Magnus could take another pawn here, and yet another one on c3, having 3 pawns for the bishop, and it is sure that this is very safe for black. I think it's even white who shouldn't overpress because he just has 1 pawn, and Magnus has 4 pawns here. Very solid position, but okay. Queen e5 is what he played here on 33rd move. It's not a bad move at all. And after some here and there, I'm gonna just to save you some time, we're gonna jump some moves. We had some advances in white's position. White has a passed pawn here, but really doesn't matter that much, as black king is pretty safe, and black is controlling dark squares, and there is no real serious way to try to get here this pawn moving or get any other serious advantage, as black has enough counterplay and mobility here. Bishop f3, white has to protect g4, g6, h takes, queen takes, and after some other moves here they finally agreed to sign a draw. After 58 moves, there it goes. First board of Norway Armenia match was a draw between Levon Aronian and Magnus Carlsen. Thanks for watching.